This is just next level annoying. Imagine your salary being reported every single time. It's currently happening to Alex Eala for every tournament she participates in. There's even 2 articles about the same topic of this. Literally, what do these articles even achieve? Instead of celebrating her wins and her achievements, the prize money is becoming the topic. What's worse is there's massive engagement about this in social media. So instead of her achievements becoming the topic of her hard work, it is magkano ang kinita niya. For me, it's extremely shallow reporting.
Getting the biggest paycheck of your career on the same day your Wimbledon dream smacks straight into a brick wall is the kind of plot twist that makes tennis look like a prank show. Yet that is exactly the strange turn Alex Eala just lived through. She walked out of the All England club without the trophy, but with hundreds of thousands of pounds, global attention, and a story that somehow grew louder because she lost. Here is why this shock exit changed everything.
From the players in this half of the draw, you had picked Eala to be the one to go to the final. This isn't recriminations, don't worry. Do you think she'll do that in the future?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Listen, I kind of feel like you, seeing her with the, I know she had the big strapping on her leg the other day and the strapping here, and she didn't look as comfortable out there. You know, I thought she actually did really well to make a good match of this against a player who was playing well for the most part. There was a euphoria about her the other day against Fion.
It is one of the strange realities of professional tennis that a tournament can end in disappointment while simultaneously becoming the biggest financial breakthrough of a player's career. That was exactly the story for Alex Eala at Wimbledon.
Alex Eala loses to Jasmine Paolini under the eyes of Roger Federer. And even though Alex Eala played not well, she did put up a fight and she even forced a deciding set. So Jasmine Paolini, she definitely looked less nervous than Alex Eala. She looked nervous as hell, which is understandably so. She just pulled off a massive upset the round before against Iga Swiatek. She had many expectations to meet from her country, from the fans, so she was understandably so very nervous, and it was shown in the quality of her.
Her campaign came to an end in the 4th round with a loss to Jasmine Paolini. Yet when everything was counted, she walked away with approximately £300,000 in prize money, the largest single payday she has earned as a professional.
I've really enjoyed watching the rise of Alex Eala, and a part of that is because she is literally one of one. She is the first ever Filipino tennis player to have represented our country in 4 major Grand Slams. She's the first ever Filipino player to have made it to the round of 16. Yes, she may have lost, but what I really enjoyed about Alex's game is that she is capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the best players in the world. She literally beat Iga Swiatek, the defending champion of Wimbledon. She's only in her 2nd year by the...
For most athletes, leaving a tournament after a defeat usually means reflecting on missed opportunities. For Eala, it also represented undeniable proof that years of sacrifice were finally translating into rewards on the biggest stage in tennis.
Huge upset. That's how a lot of people have been framing this Eala victory over the defending champion Iga Swiatek. But honestly, as someone who has covered her grass court season from the Birmingham WTA 125 event that she won, and then seeing her improve and play really well on the grass in places such as Germany and also Queens, it is not a surprise at all. She has been improving with every single game, and the only thing that she was really lacking was that big statement victory, which she now has got. Who knows how far she could go in this tournament.
Looking only at the final result would completely miss the bigger picture. Wimbledon has always been about much more than one match. It is where reputations are built, dreams become believable, and careers often take a dramatic leap forward. Eala may not have lifted the famous trophy, but she accomplished something that countless young tennis players spend their entire lives chasing. She established herself as someone who belongs among the sport's rising stars, and that achievement carried a significance that extended far beyond a single afternoon on center court. For tennis fans in the Philippines, for decades, Filipino fans watched Grand Slam tournaments hoping that one day, one of their own would compete alongside the world's best, rather than simply admire them from afar. Alex Eala was simply another young athlete carrying a tennis racket to practice before most people had even finished breakfast. Those early years rarely make highlight reels because they are not glamorous. They are filled with repetitive drills, exhausting conditioning sessions, endless travel, and countless small improvements that nobody notices until they suddenly become impossible to ignore. Like every successful athlete, Eala discovered very early that greatness is rarely built through dramatic moments.
I don't think anybody's going to stop her that day. I think we'll get a lot of that in the future. As long as she's fit, as long as she can stay fit. I realise that the serve might need some work and maybe some people are going to start figuring out some ways to play her, but I still feel like this game works on grass. I think she will win Wimbledon one day. What do you think?
I don't want to annoy all our lovely new Filipino fans. I'm far less confident about that. But what I would say is
because of the serve?
Yes. Because
it is constructed through thousands of ordinary days repeated with extraordinary discipline. Her development accelerated after joining the renowned Rafa Nadal Academy, an environment designed to prepare young players for the unforgiving realities of professional tennis. Training there meant far more than refining her forehand or improving her serve. Every practice session became an education in handling pressure, adapting to different opponents, and maintaining focus when fatigue threatened to take over. Surrounded by ambitious players from around the world, she learned that talent might earn attention, but consistency is what earns respect. The Academy also reinforced a lesson that would become one of the defining characteristics of her career. Every loss contained valuable information. Rather than allowing defeats to become emotional setbacks, she treated them like detailed instruction manuals explaining exactly what needed improvement. As her junior career evolved into professional competition, observers began noticing qualities that statistics alone could not fully explain. Coaches praised her willingness to absorb new ideas. Analysts admired her intelligent shot selection and patience during long rallies. Opponents quickly discovered that she refused to panic under pressure, even against far more experienced players.
Paulini then takes the first set. In the second set, Paulini definitely made more mistakes, which was the advantage for Eala because she then broke Paulini and then eventually won the set. In the third and deciding set, things got more interesting, especially towards the end. Both kind of looked, I don't know, uncomfortable, nervous. Both of their serves were very shaky, and in the end, Alex Eala, she just got broken at a bad time and then she lost. And I know this must be very, very disappointing for a lot of Alex Eala.
Instead of chasing spectacular winners every few points, she trusted the foundation built through years of disciplined preparation. It was not always flashy, but it was remarkably effective. One reason fans around the world found themselves supporting Eala was her refreshing approach to success. Modern sports often reward bold predictions, dramatic celebrations, and carefully crafted social media personalities. Eala chose a different path. She consistently allowed her performances to speak louder than promotional headlines. Interviews reflected humility rather than self-promotion, and victories were usually followed by appreciation for her coaches, family, and supporters, instead of declarations about future dominance. Children who had never considered picking up a racket suddenly became curious about the sport. Parents began viewing tennis as a realistic opportunity rather than an impossible dream. Local coaches found themselves answering more questions from enthusiastic families, and tennis academies experienced growing interest from youngsters eager to follow the same path. One athlete was gradually reshaping the imagination of an entire sporting community.
Even Federer had to pull up to watch Eala. That's how phenomenal she has been over this last week and a bit. But Ayala's run is done. She is out of Wimbledon. She showed fight, she showed grit, she showed determination. But today was just the beginning of something special. Big shout out to Jasmine Paolini, who's into another quarterfinal at Wimbledon. She beat Eala in 3 unbelievable sets of tennis with momentum going back and forth, and she just...
That influence cannot be measured through ranking points or prize money. Sporting heroes change cultures because they redefine what people believe is possible. Before Eala's rise, reaching the latter stages of a Grand Slam felt like an almost unimaginable achievement for a Filipino player. As she continued climbing the rankings, that impossible dream slowly transformed into an achievable objective for the next generation. Sometimes the greatest victory an athlete earns is convincing thousands of young people that their own ambitions deserve to be taken seriously. Naturally, anticipation reached extraordinary levels when Wimbledon arrived. There are prestigious tournaments throughout the tennis calendar, but Wimbledon occupies a category entirely its own. The perfectly maintained grass courts, the rich traditions, the all-white clothing, and the centuries of history combine to create an atmosphere unlike anything else in professional sports. Every tournament demanded weeks away from home, constant travel across continents, unfamiliar hotel rooms, changing weather conditions, and endless adaptation to different playing surfaces. Professional tennis often appears glamorous from the outside, but behind every televised match exists an exhausting lifestyle built around relentless preparation.
As a person who watches Wimbledon every single year, I am shocked that Iga has went out. She is number 3 in the world at the moment, and she has went out by Alex Eala. Eala is, as you can see, 29th in the world. She is really proving a lot of people that if you put your mind to it, you can literally achieve anything, aka defeating Iga Swiatek. Though it's only 3 rounds in, she's really inspiring the youth, especially people in her country.
Airports become second homes, recovery sessions replace vacations, and every meal, workout, and sleeping schedule becomes part of performance. By the time Wimbledon began, millions of supporters throughout the Philippines had already arranged their schedules around her matches. Families gathered around television screens despite inconvenient time differences. Schools discussed her progress. Social media overflowed with messages of encouragement. It almost felt as though an entire country had quietly agreed that this tournament belonged to everyone, not just the young woman standing on the court. The unique challenge of grass court tennis demanded another level of preparation. Even the world's best players often struggle during the short grass season because every bounce behaves slightly differently, forcing constant adjustments. Each victory strengthened the belief that she could compete with established stars rather than simply gain valuable experience against them. With every passing round, international commentators devoted more attention to her intelligent court awareness, disciplined decision-making, and calm demeanor during high-pressure situations. She was no longer being discussed merely as a promising young player.
Mabuhay. So yesterday, Alexandra Eala lost her match. But that's not what stayed with me. Last night, while I was walking, I saw people in every restaurant that had a TV. I saw people watching her match. They were all gathering and celebrating every point like they all know each other. And that kind of makes me emotional.
She was beginning to look like someone capable of staying on tennis's biggest stages for many years. Eventually, however, every remarkable tournament reaches its defining challenge. For Eala, that challenge arrived in the form of Jasmine Paolini, one of the most accomplished competitors on the WTA Tour and an opponent whose consistency and experience have troubled even the game's elite players. Facing someone of Paolini's quality required near-perfect execution, exceptional physical endurance, and unwavering concentration from the opening serve until the final point. Although Eala battled with determination, disappointment followed because elite athletes never travel halfway around the world, hoping merely to participate. Competitors at this level always believe they can win another match, no matter who stands across the net. Losing is never enjoyable. Eala left Wimbledon without the championship trophy, but she departed with something equally valuable for her long-term career. She gained priceless experience competing under enormous pressure, demonstrated her ability to perform on tennis's grandest stage, and collected approximately £300,000 in prize money, the largest tournament earnings she has received so far.
I really didn't think I'd be making this many videos about women's tennis at Wimbledon, but once I researched Alex Eala's story, I couldn't resist this one. If you don't already know the name of Alex Eala, get ready because she is the first Filipino tennis player to make it through to the third round of a Grand Slam's singles tournament at Wimbledon. But that isn't the best thing about her story. In August last year, Eala wore a t-shirt designed by Manila-based designer Georgina Camus, which featured the national flower of the Philippines, the sampagita.
That financial reward represents much more than a number printed beside her name. Professional tennis is an expensive career. Players travel with coaches, physiotherapists, trainers, and support staff while moving constantly between tournaments around the world. Flights, accommodation, equipment, nutrition, recovery programs, and training facilities require enormous investment before any prize money is earned. A breakthrough payday like this provides stability, allowing an athlete to strengthen every aspect of their professional operation without worrying about immediate financial pressure. For younger players attempting to establish themselves, that kind of breakthrough often changes the trajectory of an entire career. Equally important was the confidence generated by her Wimbledon performance. Confidence in professional tennis cannot be manufactured through motivational speeches or optimistic interviews. It develops through evidence. Every competitive victory against top-level opponents provides another reminder that years of preparation truly belong on the world's biggest courts. Eala now possesses that evidence. She has experienced the atmosphere, handled the expectations, and proven she can compete deep into a Grand Slam.
Shout out to Eva Lees for her comment here. She says, Alex Eala is exactly what tennis needs. And Eva, I couldn't agree more. Although Alex Eala's run at this year's Wimbledon came to an end today at the hands of Jasmine Paolini in the round of 16, she still has so much to be proud of and so much to look forward to. As you've probably heard by now, Alex Eala's win over the defending champion Iga Swiatek put her in the history books as the first person from the Philippines to ever make the second week of a Grand.
Her personality throughout the tournament remained remarkably consistent despite growing international attention. Success often transforms athletes into celebrities overnight, bringing constant interviews, social media attention, and endless public expectations. Through it all, Eala continued displaying the humility that had defined her career from the beginning. She acknowledged her team, thanked supporters, respected every opponent, and treated victories as stepping stones instead of final destinations. That maturity continues to earn admiration from fans well beyond the Philippines. Meanwhile, her influence at home continues expanding. Young athletes across different sports increasingly reference her discipline as an example worth following. Those lessons extend well beyond tennis because they apply to nearly every meaningful goal in life. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Eala's story is that it still feels like the opening chapter rather than the conclusion. Many athletes reach their career peak before turning into national icons. In her case, the opposite appears to be happening. Every tournament introduces new milestones, new experiences, and new reasons to believe that even greater achievements remain ahead.
Because, like I said in one of my other videos, Filipinos are very passionate when it comes to their people. Same as Venezuelans. So to me, Alexandra Eala is a definition of no matter where you come from and no matter where you are in the world, as long as you're proud of your roots.
Her ranking will continue changing, stronger opponents will continue emerging, and inevitable setbacks will appear along the way, because that is simply the reality of professional sport. However, each challenge now arrives alongside growing evidence that she possesses the mentality required to overcome it. History rarely remembers every individual match, but it always remembers the athletes who changed expectations. Alex Eala has already accomplished that. She has expanded the possibilities for Philippine tennis, inspired countless young players to believe that Grand Slam success is achievable, and demonstrated that consistent dedication eventually attracts its own rewards. Many of them will do so because Alex Eala helped make that belief possible. Her fourth-round exit may appear in record books as another tournament result, but the larger story is impossible to overlook. She arrived as one of tennis's brightest young prospects, left with the biggest payday of her career, and reminded millions that meaningful success is rarely defined by a single victory or defeat. It is measured by steady progress, unwavering character, and the lasting inspiration created along the way. If Wimbledon was supposed to be a heartbreaking ending, it instead looked remarkably like the beginning of something far greater.